Dear students, and I hope and I believe that all of you are preparing well for your coming mains examination, which are going to be conducted by the JPSC. So in JPSC mains examination, specifically I am trying to bring questions specifically for JPSC mains examination. And this day again, it is dedicated for the modern history. The question has been taken from the modern history, that is the paper third. From the paper third, I have taken a question, and it is dedicated for the mains examination. So let's see. If a question comes regarding this segment, so what type of questions may come and how to draft answer, this is a way of your expertise. This should be your expertise. And you know, the writing only is a simple evidence of your performance. Because the coming examination, only your writing performance can only promote you for the Viva zone. So you have to be prepared well and you have to perform as per the demand of the question. So this question which I am going to deliver now, it has been taken from the modern history of India. That is specifically, and everything, specifically what I say that it is taken from the 1857 revolt. So what type of question it is and how to deliver, this is a way of your wisdom. It should be the way of your wisdom. You have to apply your wisdom so that you can draft your answer in a very diplomatic discipline. So let's see. If the answer is over there, question is, let's just try to see question. In the 1857 uprising, the culmination of the recurrent big and small local rebellion that had occurred in the preceding 100 years of the British rule. Elucidate. Very simple question. I think it requires your factual information also. So what it says, in the 1857 uprising was the culmination of the recurrent big and small local rebellions that had occurred in the preceding 100 years of British rule. This is a question. So very first, try to know the gist of question only. Unless and until you will not try to find the hidden fact, hidden need of the question, you can't explain in a very beautified discipline. So you have to very first go through answer properly before writing it. So let's see what sort of explanation it requires. Your answer begins from here. The revolt of 1857 was the result of imperialistic and capitalistic nature of the East India Company rule. This is the intro. The intro from here, the revolt of the 1857 was the result of imperialist and the capitalistic nature of the East India Company rule. You know very well. And the high rate of the land revenues. There were many reasons behind this revolt, but the question is little bit different. We have to go prior to the 1857 revolts. What were the causes behind the uprising of 1857? This is the question. So you have to go before the 1857. What were the incidents? You have to put your flesh your views on those segments only. So the high rate of land revenues and the subjugation of the grievances of the locals, involvement in the cultural traditions, impact of Christian missionaries, and the mistreatment of the tribal. Mistreatment of the tribal by the outsider have given genesis to the several big and small local rebellion prior to the 1857. So now it is clear what were the main causes behind this 1857 revolt. The high rate of land revenues, subjugation of the grievances of the locals, involvement in the cultural traditions, impact of the Christian missionaries, and mistreatment of the tribal by outsiders have given genesis to the several big and small local rebellion prior to the 1857. And you know, there were many revolts, there are many rebellions took place, that was like as the civil revolts, tribal revolts, and the peasants revolts and the princely states revolts. They were responsible for the next big events that it was considered as the 1857 revolt. So we have to deal such topics. So the following resistance and the rebellions by the people culminated in the 1857 uprising. So what I dealt now, we have mentioned that there were civil revolts also took place, tribal revolts also took place, peasants revolts also took place, and the princely states revolts also took place. So one by one I will try to deliver all those revolts in a systematic discipline. So let's see that what sort of civil revolts took place before the 1857. So the civil revolts occurred to secure the traditional and customary rights. The common causes of the resentment were illegal taxes demands and oppressions by the police, judiciary, and the revenue department. These were the cause of civil revolts. The traditional and the customary rights, the common causes of the resentment were illegal taxes demands and the oppressions by the police, judiciary, and revenue department. The major civil revolts, you know very well, if you have went through the history properly, the modern history of India, you can very first recognize the major civil revolts include the sannyasi revolts, you know. So little bit I will try to add or mention few information regarding the sannyasi vidroh, that is sannyasi revolts. This revolts took place under the direction of Pandit Bhavani Charan Pathak in the Murshidabad and Baikunthpur woods of Jalpaiguri in West Bengal. And the main goals were to air the grievances and exact personal vengeance of the Britishers. Okay, it was the main. I am telling you the little bit, I am adding you information regarding the sannyasi revolts. This type of information is required to mention in examination hall also once you will drive to your answer in a long answer type. I know that you know very well the sannyasi revolt took place in 1763 up to 1800. This revolts in the Midnapur and Dalbhum during the 1766 and 74. Similarly, revolts of Mayamarias in the Ahom state, it is also required to mention that where it was and it was located. So Mayamarias or Muamarias in Ahom state, this revolt was a powerful challenge to the authority of Assam Ahom monarch. It was such a revolt took place in Assam state. So you have to mention little bit information regarding this. So let's see what sort of other revolts, civilian revolts also took place during this time. Later, I am also mentioning the revolts of Raja Vijayanagaram which took place in 1794. So revolts of Raja Vijayanagaram this revolts I think 1794, yeah. And Raja Vijayanagaram is the modern day of Andhra Pradesh. And the reasons of this revolt was the Britishers reduced the area of Jamindari and increased the revenue payable to the Britishers. So due to this cause, this revolt took place in Vijayanagaram area. And similarly, the civil rebellions in Awadh, 1799. Civil rebellions in Awadh. So civil rebellions in Awadh took place in 1999 also. Now here it is what it says, 1799. Very good, 1799. So as civil rebellions took place in Awadh involving Wazir Ali Khan, the fourth Nawab of Awadh. So you have to mention this also so that you can frame your answer in a very concrete discipline. So you have to necessary to it. So while it was the brief information about the civil revolt, let's try to see the tribal revolt. What type of tribal revolt took place before the 1857? So the tribal revolts under the British rules were militant and violent in nature. So now, this is the main fact regarding this, the tribal revolt. They took place under the tribal movements under British rule were militant and violent in nature. Violent in nature. Tribal revolted due to the imposition of Forest Right Act, forceful conversion of tribal by Christian missionaries. These are the main cause of tribal revolt. Okay, so you must remember, you have to mention Christian missionaries and the intrusion of outsider. This is a main hidden fact. This is a main cause. Intrusion of outsider in the areas and interference of British in the cultural practices also. Okay, so they felt that some sort of encroachment is happening under their premises, under their areas. So they try to just create an agitation, and that ultimately resulted in the form of revolt. So later we see that what type of revolts were there. So there is the name of such revolt, the Chunar uprising. So what do you know about the Chunar uprising? Have you heard? If you have not heard, then you have to mention there where it was. So Chunar uprising was occurred between the 1777 and 1809 near the Midnapur district and Manbhum and Bankura district, Bankura area. So it is also known as Jangal Mahal rebellion. So remember, if any MCQ questions regarding this, which of the tribal revolt is also considered as the Jangal Mahal rebellion. So you have to write about the Chunar rebellion or Chunar uprising. Similarly, the Paharias rebellion also, Ho and Munda uprising, Santhal rebellion 1855 and 56, Ramosi rising and the Khasi uprising. So let's try to add a few information regarding the Santhal, specifically Santhal rebellion. Okay, so you know that Santhal rebellion took place in 1855 and up to 1856, led by the Sidhu Kanu, who rose up against their oppressions or the uppices, announced the end of a company rule and declared their independence. So it was their agitation, and due to this Santhal rebellion took place. And likewise the Ramosi and Khasi uprising. So if you know about the Ramosi and Khasi uprising, then it is good. Otherwise you should also mention where it was, the Ramosi uprising. I think the Ramosi uprising was taken place, I think the uprising was taken place in 1822 and was the peasant led revolt against the Britishers and British failure to solve up their anti-famine measures. These were the main causes. That is, Ramosi uprising was a peasants-led revolts against the British because due to the failure of solve up their anti-famine measures. It was led by the leadership of Vasudev Balwant Phadke. You have to mention the name of such a leader also. Later what you write here, peasants revolts. So the peasants uprising, that is a Kisano ka Bidroh, you can say in Hindi. So peasants revolts uprising were protests against the evictions. Write down this word also, mention this: eviction, exorbitant demand of land revenue, excessive, exorbitant means the excessive demands of the land revenues. Later, operations of the officials and frequent occurrence of drought and famine, etc. So these were the causes. Some major and the minor peasants revolted were, for instance, and some other revolts also took place in terms of in name of Pagalpanthi revolts of Bengal, led by the Karamsat during the 1825-35. So what do you know about the Pagalpanthi revolt? So the reasons for this revolt was the opposition, that the oppose of atrocities committed by the landlords on the peasants. This was the reason behind this revolts. So remember, such type of minor or major revolts took place before the major incident or the major event before the 1857, and they created a major role. Okay, they created the ingredients for the uprising of 1857 revolts. So here I have to also mention, in examination it is necessary to plot those information in a proper discipline. So what I told about the Pagalpanthi Virod, revolt, that during the 1825-35 Faraiji revolt in Eastern Bengal led by the Haji Saraitullah and his son Dadu Milan. Similarly, the Mopila uprising in Malabar in 1835 to 1854 and the Paika revolt of Khurda, Odisha led by the Jagabandhu. So such type of small or the little rebellion, you have to mention this information also. So let us see what other information required. Some princely states revolts also responsible for the 1857 revolt. So princely states revolts with the expansion of British rule in India, some princely states were annexed by the excuse of misadministration, and it was the diplomacy of subsidiary alliance, and you have went through properly the causes of 1857 revolt. So it was, these causes were mentioned there over there. Maladministration, that is what is a maladministration, and the diplomacy of subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse also. Example, Mysore is in 1831, Jhansi is in 1852 and the Awadh in 1856. All these incidents took place before 1857 and they also revolted against the Britishers. So you have to mention one by one so that your performance or your script can be performed, can be present in a very concrete pattern. At the last you say that the military revolts, it was also responsible for the 1857 revolts. So there were numerous revolts by the sepoys due to interference in the social and religious practices and discrimination. So in this question specifically what we are watching, we are only writing the factual things. There is no need to add any conceptual information, extra information, everything has to be written in a very factual discipline. So discrimination against them in comparison to the European counterparts. So the results of the include Vellore Mutiny 1806, Mutiny of the Sepoy of Bengal 1764 and the Barakpur Mutiny 1824. So you have to also try to memorize the chronology of such incidents so that you can write in a proper and a very perfect pattern. So apart from these, certain deposed rulers and the Jamindar also revolted. Now remember, you have to also mention not only peasants and princely estates but the local Jamindar also revolted. They also revolted against the Britishers, and all the localized movements which lacked efficient leadership, you have to also mention efficient leadership, and possessed backward ideology were suppressed by the British, but these rebellions finally culminated in the revolt of 1857. So you have to also, in a powerful conclusion, you have to write this type of information. So I think that this day I tried my best to bring a question as per the demand of my answer as per the demand of this question. In examination, if such type of question comes, you have to mention, it is necessary to mention this in a order-wise information so that your answers must be in a very decorative discipline. So I hope that I tried my best to bring answer, and if you are watching my videos, if you are appreciating my videos, please like it, subscribe it and share it with your friends so that I can bring new questions for the specific patterns for the JPSC mains discipline, what the examiner demands. So I am trying to bring question and their answer, present answer, so as per your requirement. So you have watching continuously my videos. Thank you for your watching. So keep writing, keep practicing. Again I am going to meet you very soon. Till then, goodbye.